Namaste. Here is the second video in this series of how to deepen your yoga practice, especially if you're practicing from home and from a screen like here on YouTube. But these tips can also support you if you go to a yoga class at a yoga studio. I am Anita Goa. If you're new to me in my channel, welcome. I'm going to go over 10 common yoga practice mistakes and how you can fix them. But please know that this is not meant to make you feel bad if you find that any of them resonate with you. It's just meant to shine a light on what we commonly do. But when we know better, we do better, as Maya Angelou always used to say, and I take that to heart. Let's begin. I think the best way to approach this is to learn the steps of the asanas and also incorporate props like blocks and belts and bolsters whenever you feel you need it, and remind yourself that it is the journey that counts, not getting to the destination. And also in the Yoga Sutra, Patanjali advises us that asana should be sthira and shuka. And sthira means steady or stable, and shuka means comfortable or joyful. So if you're struggling or forcing yourself, that's a sign that you're not practicing sthira or shuka. So something to keep in mind. Remind yourself that flow yoga or vinyasa yoga is all about linking the breath with movement. So if you feel that the movement is too fast and you can't breathe properly while moving, then the movement is too fast for you to breathe to. Yeah. So learn how to practice Ujjayi breathing properly. I have a tutorial on it. And slow down your practice until you're able to link movement to breath. Watch the space for a video on exactly this, so make sure that you are subscribed and click the notification bell so you don't miss it. It's always good to ask questions to a qualified and experienced teacher. But also know and keep in mind that there are many different opinions depending on what lineage the teacher comes from. So you can listen, but also practice and follow what feels right for you. Krishnamacharya would always say that the more questions you ask, the better the teacher gets. If a student doesn't ask any questions, then that makes the teacher lazy. I always love to remind myself of that. But I personally love to get questions because it motivates me as a teacher, and I actually want to give more because of the interest. So I feel that asking questions benefits all. We have to remember that there is no perfection in yoga asana, and it's not necessary to focus so much on the shape of the asana. It's all about really how it feels and what it is that you're learning about yourself, and whether your yoga practice makes you feel good in your body, in your mind, and in your spirit. And most of all, does it support you in your life? Every single one of us, we move differently, and for every single one of us, it's going to look differently. But the yoga asanas, I don't feel is anything of the sort of being a one size, one way fits all kind of practice, even though it might be promoted that way on Instagram and in social media. Practice patience, persistence, and compassion towards yourself. And this is a lifetime practice. And see if you can allow yourself to ask yourself, why do you have to do so much? Why does it have to happen so quickly? What is the rush? Ask yourself why you practice asana And remember that yoga with a capital Y goes beyond asana. Will doing too much to the point of exhaustion or pushing yourself too much help you in a challenging situation in your life where perhaps you might require to pause, be calm, and compassionate towards yourself? This is an inquiry that can be practiced a lot. It's a good one. It's much better to do a little bit at a time consistently than a lot inconsistently. But you know what? This is human nature. We often either overestimate ourselves or underestimate ourselves. Set an intention for yourself of why you want to practice yoga and practice the inquiry that I shared in number 5. I have found that when I have an intention and I know the purpose for me beyond asana, then it's much easier to be consistent. It's kind of like brushing my teeth. I don't always want to do it, but I know the value and the purpose of doing it. And that's why I have to do it even when I don't want to. This is a bit in the same vein as number 6. When we understand the importance of why Savasana and warm-up is an integral part of our practice, then it's much easier to integrate it and harder to skip it. Warm-ups are important to, yes, warm up our body and to prepare our muscles, connective tissue, our bones, and our mind for the practice. Shavasana is a time for the body and our mind to relax and to regenerate, and we actually get stronger when we take that rest. Movement it's very important, but stillness, I would argue, is even more important. And often it takes quite a lot of practice to learn how to find stillness and be okay with it. Shavasana is considered to be the hardest asana, obviously not on a physical level, but on a mental one. It should not be skipped. For the first 2 to 3 years, until you have created a solid foundation, simply avoid taking any advanced classes. As you gain a little bit more knowledge and you know exactly how to modify or adjust yourself, then you can participate in any class feeling confident and empowered, knowing that you're taking care of yourself. But until you get to that point, I would suggest that you avoid taking any advanced classes, just so that you can make sure you don't get injured. I see this a lot. The feeling is it has to be hard in order for it to be good or worth anything. I would disagree, not at all. But this is also part of our practice, and it will naturally change over time. I think when you've experienced a few injuries and you might get a little bit older, you'll learn to find a more balanced approach of a solar and lunar practice. This is also human nature. We like to do what we like and we avoid what we don't like. I had this happen to me as well. I hated back bends and I loved forward bends because I was good at them. I avoided the back bends like the plague until my body hurt so much from a very one-dimensional forward bending practice. And I often say that if you don't fix it, yoga will fix it for you. So you'll have no other choice but to enter those asanas that you dislike. And you know what? Those are the asanas you will need the most and the ones that will teach you the most about yourself. I know back bends have done that for me. All right, I hope that this has been helpful. Please let me know and look out for one more video on common yoga practice mistakes and how to fix them. There is quite a lot of them, so I wanted to make sure that I split it up in 2 videos so that you won't get so tired of looking at me and listening to me. Until next time, I'll see you. Take good care and remember to believe in yourself.